Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spooky AF. My name is Rob, and today I'm joined by my co-host Suz. Suz, how are you?
I'm feeling the passage of time this week.
Fair. That is the most millennial sentence I think you've dropped on us so far.
Oh, I don't know. You said something in a chat the other day that was so millennial I almost screamed. We were talking about something funny, and then you switched it and you were like, yeah, and you said something about like a memento mori or something. I was like, God, that was millennial.
Yeah, well, I like to keep it interesting. We are that generation who's lived through, what was it now, like 3 once-in-a-lifetime events.
Yeah, well, I love the posts that are like, yeah, I don't need any more character development. I'm good, thanks.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I'm fully developed. Cheers.
I'm good, thanks.
Oh my God, Rob. Okay, we need to talk briefly about the fact that I stumbled upon 2 people on Reddit who recommended our podcast, and it filled me with such joy.
Yeah, you sent me some very excited screenshots, being like, "Holy fuck!"
Well, it was funny because I'd taken like a long hiatus from Reddit once they stopped supporting third-party apps.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I'm not going to use the Reddit app. But then eventually I needed to look at something, like a particular subreddit for something, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to use the Reddit app. So I downloaded it, and so all my old subscriptions were there, and one of them was I think one of them was on r/podcast, and then I think the other one was on like r/ghost or something, or r/paranormal. And I was just like, oh, there's people are recommending horror podcasts. Cool, I'll have a look. And I saw somebody recommend our podcast, and I was like, oh my God! Like, somebody on Reddit likes us. But then I had a brief moment going, is this Rob's account?
No. Yeah, you sent it to me, and I was like, damn, that's something else.
No, so I just want to say thank you to separate Redditors who threw us a recommendation on Reddit. I found them, and I really appreciated it, and I was like, oh my God, look, listeners, people like us.
Please be kind to us, though, Reddit.
Oh God, well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I was kind of terrified when I saw our name pop up. I was like, oh God, but then it was in a positive way, so it was great.
Yeah, we'll keep that going for the moment then.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Reddit.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's always dangerous to thank Reddit, but thank you, Reddit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird and wonderful website, and I try to limit the amount of I'm on it, but it is good for certain things.
Oh God, because it's just reminding me that you cannot dig down in comments. That is woo.
No, if you want to get into some weird shit, you just go into the load more comments part of Reddit,
or sort by controversial, which is hilarious.
Yeah, especially on the politics subreddit.
Oh, I can't. I've been to that subreddit maybe twice, and I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, it's on one of my blocked ones.
Yes.
But every once in a while I'll see a cross post, and I'm like, I'll sort by controversial.
See what's going on.
Treat myself to a little bit of casual racism.
Oh God. Yeah, the further you dig in comments, the more you're like, God, I thought I was on a crochet subreddit, and somehow we're talking about the history of fascism, but I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people post worryingly long comments about the Second World War from the Germans' perspective.
Oh, I know.
And they just have them in the fucking chamber ready to go.
On any comment, or any post, they just seem to be ready to throw that in. So, oh God. Okay, Rob, let's head to the paranormal playground. It's your week. What are you gracing us with?
So I actually, this is a fun one for me in that I actually have a movie update which is relevant because it will lead into today's story.
You having a movie update? That is, have we switched roles? Wait, am I a believer now?
I think we have.
Oh God.
Yeah, you are. You're in now. You're in the gang.
Is this aluminium on my head? What?
Oh, thank you for pronouncing it correctly as well.
Well, okay, if we do the math, I have lived in the UK and Ireland since I was 22, so it's been a while. I get to say aluminium.
You do, because it's the correct way to pronounce it.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
And it drives my mother mad. So
good. That means you're doing it right.
Oh yeah, I live for that shit.
Yeah, you don't speak American anymore.
I'm like, oh, you don't like my hair? Excellent.
So yeah, my movie update is that recently myself and a friend have been committing to like consistently watching horror movies for the last few weeks, like once a week or once every 2 weeks, whatever. So we've been watching movies, but we've divided them into like shit and then good.
Right.
And then it's kind of, we're leaving it up to a dice roll to determine what we watch.
Okay, cool.
So we started with the Hell House LLC
yeah, you did.
films. Yeah, so have you seen these?
Oh, it's been years. I've seen. I don't think I've seen all, but I've definitely dipped my toe in the water.
Fair. Okay, so we watched the first one a while ago and kind of wrote it off a little bit. We were like, ugh, I don't know. Like we finished it and we were like, it was good, but don't have any desire to watch the second and third one. But then 2 weeks ago or whatever, we were like, right, let's commit to 2 and 3. So we did 2 and 3 in one sitting, and they weren't great. And that's all I'll say on that.
Were they not great in the way of like they were bad and therefore fun, like Stay Alive, or were they just disappointingly not great?
Kind of a mixture of both in a weird way.
Okay.
Like there was some parts to it that were creepy and kind of good, and then there was other parts were just unforgivably bad.
Okay.
And yeah, just so it kind of like it was a good middle ground. So then we were kind of like, right, well, we're done with Hell House. But then we discovered that there was a kind of a sequel that's also kind of a prequel came out afterwards. It only came out last year.
Last year, really? Jesus.
Yeah, and it's called like Hell House Origins or something, or Carmichael House or something.
Okay.
And holy shit, it's actually legit, like properly good.
Really?
And I would actually recommend that you watch it. Like genuinely very good.
That is
And,
wild.
like fucking creepy, like properly creepy. So I don't know what they've done. They've maybe gotten like more budget or something, but they made some actual scary shit. And it was scary enough that like the shit was playing on my mind afterwards.
I mean, I love it when you get something that like impacts you beyond the screen time of the film.
Yeah, and this definitely did, and it was very, very well done. So now we've discovered that there's another one coming out next year now. So we'll definitely have to watch it. But so firstly, that's my recommendation. People should watch it. If you haven't watched the Hell Houses, I would recommend watching them just to get to the fourth one. Unfortunately, you do need to watch the other 3 though, to get to the fourth one. So
it's like when people try and get into like they're trying to watch all of the Marvel movies that you technically need to watch to understand, you know, like Endgame, and they're just like, God, I've got to sit through Thor 2.
Yeah, basically. So like if that puts off people, I totally understand, but it's worth it to get to the last one.
Okay.
So moving on then, we were like, okay, well, what else are we going to watch now going forward? And recently we watched The House of the Devil. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
So it's a great film, like really, really good. It kind of surprised me a little bit with how good it was. And yeah, it's just very well done. It's a bit weird, but it's quite good. So one of my favorite things to do after watching a film is to then go onto Letterboxd and read all the funny reviews.
Oh, I mean, that's class, yeah.
Yeah, so was reading Letterboxd, and then I discovered something about The House of the Devil, and that's what leads us into today's story. So when they were filming House of the Devil, they were staying in a hotel, and the hotel that they were staying in was just this local hotel nearby. So they were filming and such, and did the film and all, and I believe they did it like reasonably quickly. But afterwards, the cast and crew and the director came out and said that the hotel that they actually stayed in was deeply unsettling, and that they had actually experienced like paranormal activity in the hotel.
Amazing.
So the director, Ty West, decided, well, obviously I now have the inspiration for my next movie. So he wrote a movie and directed it called The Innkeepers.
Okay, I've heard. Why have I heard of that?
It's actually filmed in the hotel that's supposedly haunted.
Okay.
So he wrote and directed this film and then filmed it in the hotel that it's about. I was just fascinated by this concept of them actually going and filming a haunt, like a scary movie, a horror in a location that's supposedly haunted.
This is giving me real Grave Encounters vibes.
Oh, totally. And it even kind of like Hell House in that it's like a haunted house that's in a haunted house. Like
The call is coming from inside the haunting.
Exactly. So I was like, this is it. This is fucking phenomenal. I'm in. I actually had like another case kind of prepared and ready to go. And when I read about this, I was like, right, well, that other case is gone now. Thanks very much.
Yeah, exactly. Close those 32 tabs.
Yeah, exactly. You've no idea.
I know. Oh, I know.
So today we are talking about the Yankee Pedlar Inn.
Okay.
Which is in Torrington in Connecticut.
All right.
Which Connecticut, from what I can understand, is basically the most haunted state in America. It seems to have all the big hitters.
Connecticut?
Yeah, Connecticut seems to have some like real weird, like creepy shit going on there.
It's so waspy though. Okay, that is me speaking as someone who has never been to the Northeast of America. Like, I just my generalized view of America or of Connecticut is very like, oh yes, I'm wearing Tommy Hilfiger jumper that's tied around my shoulders, except I call it a sweater because I'm American. That's all I got.
That's fair. You've just gone to war with
Connecticut,
New England, basically there.
I'll fight Connecticut, and I'll win.
Fair.
Have you seen this wagon? Sorry.
Fair, more than fair. But Connecticut is also in New England, which you'll at least give me that New England has its own shit going on paranormal-wise.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Our most recent episode being the New England Vampire Panic.
Oh god, I love that story so much.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good one, and also got some like great comments from people enjoying it. So
good.
Yeah, it's a good hitter. So yes, we are in Connecticut, and as I said, it's the Yankee Pedlar Inn, which great name, love it
for sure.
Yeah, and the whole kind of thing about the story of the film is that so it's called the Innkeepers. It came out in 2012.
Okay,
and
good year.
Yeah, 100%. And the whole thing about it is that I'll actually just read directly from their website. So it says, after over 100 years of service, the Yankee Pedlar is shutting its doors for good. The last remaining employees, Claire and Luke, are determined to uncover proof of what many believe to be one of New England's most haunted hotels. As the inn's final days draw near, odd guests check in as the pair of minimum wage ghost hunters begin to experience strange and alarming events that may ultimately cause them to be mere footnotes in the hotel's long unexplained history.
I love that so much. That premise sounds amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and the thing that I love about it is that they then filmed it in the hotel.
Yeah, that's some interesting kind of meta nonsense going on.
100%. Like, this is some, like, smashing the fourth wall sort of stuff going on there.
I also really like the inclusion, just briefly, of them saying, like, minimum wage ghost hunters, because then I'm imagining them with, like, you know, the spirit box that scans through radios. I imagine them just having to use, like, a 1990s era boom box and, like, them just, like, moving the dial, and so you just get, like, weenie and the butt. Like, 97.5. So, sorry. So that was just my immediate reaction to that, of them being like, have we made contact? Like, welcome to Big DJ 7.
Yeah, every once in a while they're flicking around the Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the news comes on, just like blaring.
Yes, yeah. You'll just hear like, a jealousy rude.
Yeah, the ghost in the Yankee Pedlar Inn do vibe to Mr. Brightside, to be fair.
I don't respect a ghost that doesn't.
No, that should be the takeaway from today's episode.
That's my line in the paranormal sand.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, continue.
So I'll give you some background to the hotel. So the actual hotel, we're not talking the Innkeepers Metaverse hotel.
Right, yeah, no, fair enough.
So in November 1890, an Irish immigrant called Frank Conley and his wife Alice bought the lot on the corner of Main and Maiden in downtown Torrington. Mm-hmm. And they basically had this dream or this idea that they were going to build the best hotel in the state of Connecticut. That was basically their plan, that there was going to be no finer place to go in Connecticut and people would come from everywhere to stay in this hotel.
Oh, I like that. That's like, good dream.
Yeah, for sure. So over the next 8 months, they basically went about building the hotel and constructing what was their vision, basically. So I've seen a few different numbers around online, but the one that seems to be settled on is they put $40,000 into this.
So $800 million in today's money.
Yeah, basically, like that is some fucking serious wedge they've got going on there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like that's some walking around money. Like that they've definitely got something going on. I wonder what Frank was doing in Ireland.
Well, that was my next question. I was like, an Irish immigrant in the late 19th century, like your average like Irish immigrant to America, I wouldn't imagine had like bank.
No, so I don't know where he got this, but just to confirm, that's 1.4 million in today's money.
Oh my god. Jesus, what was he doing?
Yeah, so maybe he was some just crime lord.
Oh, nope, he was playing cards in an old house in, like, Wicklow. Devil showed up, he saw the hooves, Rocket Devil went through the roof. Before that, there was a contract signed, somebody died in a wall, and he went to America. Done.
I have no notes.
Complete. Suz pushes over the mic off the table and walks away.
Yeah, I have nothing to say to that.
No, okay, so sorry.
Clearly something was done.
Okay, so Frank's fucking loaded. All right, we got it.
Yeah, he's got some walking around money.
Yep.
And he decides to use his walking around money to build this hotel. And I saw this great description of it online as being a Victorian showplace that featured marble floors, antique oak furniture, 2 spacious dining rooms, and 52 guest rooms, each of which included hot water.
Ooh.
Yeah, so these lads got bank and they are putting it into this building. And I respect them for it ultimately. Like this is some great work. Also, they're doing it over the winter, which is even more ballsy. I've just copped that it was November 1890 and they did it over 8 months.
Oh my god, and like I've never been to New England, but like winter in Connecticut, I have a good friend from Boston, and like winter in Boston sounds terrible, so I can we're in the general area of Connecticut there, like. Yeah,
100%. I'd say it is chilly. Also, like 1890 cold is far different to now cold.
Because, the global temperature was just a bit lower.
Global temperature was a bit lower, but I'm also thinking they did not have as much to keep themselves warm.
No, they weren't rocking about in, like, Canada Goose jackets.
No, they didn't have, like, air to heat pump systems in their house that they can just leave at a consistent temperature.
There was no underfloor marble heating in that hotel.
No, you got to go to Rome for that stuff,
Oh, yeah, ancient Rome.
Yeah. So, pretty glamorous hotel in the view of things, I suppose, especially for, like, Victorian era America.
Yeah.
So, they called it the Conley Inn, which is mad original, but fair play.
Yeah,
it opened in July 1891.
Mm-hmm.
And as they hoped, it basically became one of the finest and most successful destinations in the region. And was so successful that, like, people were, as they hoped, coming from all around and visiting the hotel. And it remained this way until the couple passed away in 1910.
Okay.
So the Conley's niece then kind of moved in and was like, okay, well, I don't really want to run a hotel. She did try for a little bit, but was like, I'm not vibing with this.
I just don't have the spirit of a hotelier, and...
No, you got to be really committed to being this, hotel manager.
Well, especially, like, that's 52 rooms. That's a lot of guests.
It is a lot of guests. Like, it's even if it was all single occupants, like, you're still looking after 52 people.
Exactly.
Like, it is quite
Well, and people are, like, feral when they are staying in hotels, because they're just like, oh, this isn't my home, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. You that was spot on. Like...
Yeah, like, they're like, oh, yeah, I'll just leave, I'll like, mystery, like, wine stain on the floor, towels everywhere... like stealing the robe. People are feral.
I saw a meme the other day and it was like, hotels do be charging you $200 for smoking in a room, but you can jizz anywhere for free.
Oh my god. Well, it just reminds me of that scene in The Office where they UV or they turn on the black light in the hotel room and they're like, everything's glowing, and Dwight's like, well, it's either blood, urine, or semen, and Michael goes, God, please let it be urine. Everywhere.
Yeah, basically, I imagine that's pretty much what these hotel rooms were like. And also, they probably didn't have black lights at this point, so it was all good. The crimes were kept secret. So the Conley's niece, she tried to run it for 2 years and was like, it's not for me.
Yep.
So she sold it, and some owners came in and purchased it and expanded it a little bit, And it basically passed through various owners then from 1912, kind of just moving through the decades, continuing to operate as a hotel, but not having like consistent owners all the time.
Okay.
So in 1940 then, the Yankee Pedlar restaurant and bar was added. And then in 1956, the entire hotel was then renamed as the Yankee Pedlar Inn. So the restaurant first, and then ultimately they were just like, fuck it, let's just call it the whole hotel this.
So at this point, there's no paranormal things happening.
Well, maybe there is.
Oh, okay.
So the hotel basically then went through a few more owners until ultimately in 1997 it was bought by a couple, Anil and Dee Patel. Mm-hmm. And from what I can understand, the Patels seem to still own it today.
Oh.
Or they did until up to 2015. So they had it for quite a while. So actually probably longer than, or almost as long as the Conleys, the original owners. So that's basically a whistle-stop tour of the history of the building.
Right.
So over the decades, though, there were various stories about mysterious figures, strange voices, kind of bumps in the night, kind of like scratches in the walls, all the kind of like classic ghost stuff.
Yeah.
And the one that kind of like stood out to me for this is that for some reason there seems to be like voices were quite common, but they were like directed at guests, so they were like inconveniencing guests or kind of like putting them out or annoying them a little bit or like pestering them. And I just don't know why, but that just kind of stood out to me as it's not like these full body apparitions are kind of annoying them. It's like voices instead. It's like calling at them or like making noises outside their rooms and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, if there were an afterlife and if I were to be haunting, that is what I would do, because you literally can't shut me up. Like, I would just be talking at people.
That checks out. That like I could totally
I'll
see
just be
that.
like, are you really gonna go with that dress? All right. Like, and just shadily walking through rooms.
Using your like acquired Gen Z slang.
I'll be like, yeah, you're gat looking fly. Do they say? They don't say fly. God damn it.
No, you're a ghost of the people. You're mixing slang together. You're bridging
Big generational gaps.
Yeah, massive generational gaps, because I'm pretty certain fly is probably a boomer term.
I know. Well, no. Now I'm just thinking of like me humming like "Pretty Fly" for a white guy as I'm talking about being a Rizzler.
Yeah.
Skibbity, and I just walk out.
Look, you got to do what you got to do. So, yeah, that was the voices just kind of like pestering guests.
Yeah.
Probably the most popular story, or the most reported kind of haunting, is that the spirit of the original owner, Alice Conley, is alleged to actually haunt the hotel. So she supposedly actually died in the hotel in room 353.
Okay.
And she has been reported to still roam the halls of the hotel. Apparently she like checks in on guests to make sure that they're like they have everything and that like they're enjoying their stay.
She just some like paranormal marketing campaign to make sure they get a good review on Yelp. Like,
Look, says Ghost Yelp doesn't fuck about, okay?
no, like 0 out of 10 would not recommend.
Yeah. And how has your haunting been today? Is everything sufficient?
Have the voices sufficiently hyped you up?
Were you looking for the scary haunting package, or were you more for like the endearing, I feel like a set like your grandmother's presence in the room sort of haunting?
Yeah, like how old do you want the haunting? That's going to really affect kind of like the casual misogyny or racism that the voices say.
Yeah, and like the racism, it does come natural to some of the older ghosts, but we're trying to move away from it. We're trying to like rebrand.
Yeah, we're really trying to like bring their afterlife into the 21st century.
Yeah, as she moves over closer though to them, she's like, but between you and me, you slip us a few extra quid, I'll get them ghosts real racist.
Oh, that's awful. That's just awful. No, Rob, no.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's running Ghost Yelp, basically, from her hotel still.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she apparently roams the halls, checking in on guests to make sure they're having a good time, and is generally just trying to be as helpful as she can. But in the room itself that she supposedly died in, there's been reports of apparitions just there going through walls and all that sort of stuff, and also strange smells, which I kind of weirdly, knowing that someone died in the room and there's strange smells, I hope that when she died that she was like surrounded by people that knew she died and she wasn't like found in there.
Well, that was my first thing. I was like, so how long was she dead in the room?
Yeah, so I have no idea whatsoever. And I'll also say, just on her dying in room 353, the only info that I could find on her actually dying in the room is that she was rumored to have died in the room, and it's from their website.
Rumored to have 353, add it together, 11, prime number, prime place for a haunting. Boom.
Yeah, Satan.
It's all, this goes all the way to the top.
It does.
Or the bottom.
This is actually
This goes
the
all the
house
way to
at
the bottom.
So, that was great, by the way, all the way to the bottom. I just caught what you said there. While we're on Alice.
Yeah.
Her favorite thing to do when she wasn't in the kind of hotel management mindset was that she loved a good rocking chair, as all Victorian women did.
God, I mean, pre-internet, we were doing different things with our lives.
You were knitting. You were on a rocking chair. Probably had a Bible in your hand as well, just because
Yeah.
that's what you did. But to be fair, Alice, actually, I've basically just described an old Irish woman.
I was about to say, she sounds like the
current day.
quintessential Irish mammy who's walking about making sure you've eaten enough and then goes and sits down in a rocking chair.
This all actually checks out now that I've fully kind of registered in my brain that she is Irish. This all checks out now that she's fussing over everyone else before herself.
And death will not stop her from doing so either.
No, 100% not. She does that. It's just an inconvenience for her, basically.
Oh yeah, she's like, I don't need to be corporeal to tell you haven't eaten enough today.
Yeah, but she'll still tell everyone she's fine.
Oh yeah.
So her favorite thing was her rocking chair, and it's actually still in the hotel lobby. And witnesses have actually reported seeing the rocking chair rocking completely on its own.
Oh, I mean, all right, sure.
Yeah. So it's just chilling out in the lobby, just rocking on its own, with no one around it, allegedly.
Wind, house settling, it's fine.
Yep, 100%. So, who are we to judge, though?
Who are we to judge?
So, moving on from room 353, another room that has had experiences in it is room 295.
Okay.
And guests here have also reported the weird smells. They've talked about how when they come into the room, they're just kind of hit with this smell that they don't know what it is. They can't place it. So there's the weird smells, but then they kind of the guests are kind of just, they brush it off. And then when they go to get into bed, they have felt invisible forces getting into the bed with them.
Oh,
and
no.
then have allegedly seen the spirit of a woman.
I mean, are we having succubus action?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who are we to kink shame?
No, this isn't kink shaming. This is consent promoting.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, so it's at the very least it's some ghost plowing that's going on anyway.
Yeah. Oh god. All right.
So yeah, allegedly they feel a invisible force getting into bed with them, and there's also been the spirit of a woman kind of seen doing this. So I don't know if it's a case of it's just you're seeing something from a different time, just a woman getting into bed, or if this ghost is actually getting into bed with them.
Well, I like the idea that maybe it's and a spoiler alert, but it's been several years, you should have already seen it by now. In the others where they think it's the ghosts that think they're being haunted. So,
oh yeah.
So maybe
we've had this conversation before, and I think you might be. Yeah, I love that idea.
Maybe she's getting into bed, and she's just why in the fuck do I feel like other people are in bed with me?
I could swear there was no one else in here.
Do you think she's God, I knew I was lonely, but I've really gone round the twist now?
She's probably only 25, and her parents have told her that she's a spinster.
Oh yeah, they're all of your eggs have dried up. You are dead to society.
You're barren.
Yeah, exactly. Your life will be as barren as your ovaries.
Yeah, that got real.
It did.
So yes, this woman has been seen in the room, but also apparently the ghost of a grey-haired man in a black suit has also been seen, and people think that this could be Frank Connolly himself.
Okay.
So he's been seen in the room, but as a true Irishman, he's mostly reported to have been seen sitting in the pub.
Well, that checks out.
Sitting by the phone. So apparently there's an old phone there that he used to use for business and stuff like that. He apparently sits in the pub beside the old phone. That's his spot, basically.
I mean, there's one of those in every Irish pub.
There 100% is. Yeah, they're still alive.
It comes when you open a pub in Ireland. That guy comes with the pub.
Yeah. Yeah, the schlug, as myself and my friends call him.
Oh, I'm a club orange.
Yeah, he's literally just like straight in there, local L lad, propping up the bar.
Yep.
Knows everyone.
To be fair, I don't blame him for wanting to stick around in this life. He was fucking loaded.
Oh fuck, that's true actually. I didn't consider that.
Do you think he went to, whatever, like he went to heaven per se, then they were like, welcome, there is no need for money here. And he was like, well, fuck this.
I'm out of here, nerds.
I am so superior to all of you, goodbye.
Yeah.
Wait, you know how much I'm
Sorry,
worth?
you think I'm going to be a pauper in heaven? Nah.
Wait, are you saying that we're all equal? Oh, no. I can't be having with that.
I didn't turn my back on Ireland to be equal.
I didn't sail from a godforsaken island to the land of the socioeconomic and unequal just to end up in a place where some random long-haired dudes tell me I gotta love everybody like I love myself.
Some fucking Portland barista looking motherfucker telling me.
Some guy in some ropey Birkenstocks telling my ass that I gotta be nice.
Next, he's got to be telling everyone he's a fucking Gemini or something,
God, I'm a fucking Libra.
Yeah, that's Frank Conley. That's the man that ran this hotel,
Oh, yeah.
So, so he chills out by the phone in the pub, just doing his thing, wearing a black suit, classic, sort of thing. Whereas Alice sits in the lobby in the rocking chair. So other paranormal events have also been reported. So the rooms themselves, apparently the lights just turn on and off with no kind of rhyme or reason to it. Mm-hmm. There's also been reports of doors just randomly opening and then closing. Sometimes they slam, or they'll just kind of slowly creak open.
Okay.
And then employees and guests have also talked about being pushed or tugged by invisible forces.
Oh, okay.
And then others, I don't know what the crack is with this, but others have said that when they walk into the hotel that they feel heightened emotions.
Right.
Which I don't really know, what, I couldn't really make sense of that. So they apparently walk in and they've reported having heightened emotions, and that it's also led to disturbing dreams.
I mean, to be fair, I could say the same thing of going into the office. I experience heightened emotions and bad dreams.
That is more than fair.
That's... So I'm gonna need more detail, because, I experience heightened emotions when I pass a Chipotle.
That is true. Yeah, it gets you going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's more than fair.
Heightened emotions, huh.
Yeah, I couldn't really make heads or tails out myself, to be honest with you, but that is where we are.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I like the idea that there's a hotel that could maybe, induce, PMS. Or something. You walk into it and you're like, you know what? I fucking hate everybody. Wait, am I ovulating? Sorry.
And that's not just the women, it's men as well. Everyone is
it's
just
mostly the men.
Yeah.
Am I what? They're just so confused by because they've never experienced heightened emotions ever. So
no, as Frank, probably a good Irishman, knows, you just bottle it all down and never deal with it until it ultimately comes out in an explosion.
Push it down.
Yeah, so, that's heightened emotions and disturbing dreams.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about the disturbing dreams, actually, is when the film was being made there, The Innkeepers, Ty West, the director, actually talked about his own experiences, and one of the things he talked about was weird dreams. He kept having weird dreams when they were staying in the hotel.
Okay.
So that's just kind of, I feel just a little link there as well. The actual reported experience.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that I find about this, and it was something that kind of stuck out to me when I was looking into it, is that there's been kind of occurrences happening throughout the years in the hotel, paranormal activity and all happening. But from what I can see, there hasn't been a single tragedy listed in the hotel. So apart from the two owners dying there doesn't seem to have been anyone else that's died in the hotel.
Right.
But it's still haunted. So I don't know like what's going on here. Is it just the two owners that are doing all the haunting, or have they just like brought in other ghosts with them because they're like, you know, we gotta fucking get the numbers up in here.
Gotta get the numbers up. I love that. Yeah, because that speaks to almost like a Beetlejuice-esque bureaucracy of death, where we're like, we've really got to get the haunting numbers up in this building. So like,
100%.
We're reassigning you. You're like, but
They are Monsters, Inc. They're purely powered off screams.
You're like, I died in a car accident in Louisiana. They're like, yeah, well, now you live in Connecticut in a hotel.
Yeah, good enough. Hope you like the cold.
Yeah, exactly. You Cajun bastard. Just... Oh, God.
Just the most heinous shit coming out of Frank's mouth.
Oh, I know. He would just say the most inappropriate things. You just be like, damn, I don't want to live with this not even borderline misogynist and racist. And they're like, yeah, well, it's not up to you. It's up to the bureaucracy of the afterlife. You should have thought about that before you died.
Yeah, you know, this is how it is. They should have read the small print.
Or I do also like the idea that there are just ghosts that have been like, you know, this is a nice hotel. I'm gonna, and like, do I need a reason to haunt? Like, in these unprecedented times, isn't like the fact that I had to live enough of a reason to make other people's lives miserable?
That phrase, unprecedented times, you just transported me back to March 2020.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I want to start sending emails that say, in these precedented times.
Yeah, I will never forget having to email people cancelling meetings in person, being like, and you know, in these unprecedented times, as these people were like giving out, being like, what do you mean we can't come to the office?
Well, it was just like, I loved that the phrase became high key, just a euphemism for being like, this the end of the world. Like, this the end of all things.
Yeah, unprecedented times, am I right?
Am I right? This is like the fourth thing that millennials and older Gen Z people have had to live through.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, you've got it on the head right there.
Yep. So I like that idea that maybe there's ghosts from like the 1940s who are like, you know what? I always wanted to go to New England. It's supposed to be a nice place. Sure, I died in Florida, but like, why the fuck would I stay there? Like,
yeah, it's hot and humid even in hell in Florida. So you know.
Oh yeah, the humidity in Florida hell is through the roof.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a no from me. Dog.
Much like Satan, and
Yeah,
we're back to Rocket Devil.
Yeah, I think I'll just move to New England. Thanks very much. It's fucking cold anyway, so I may as well be comfortable.
I've always wanted to see snow.
Yeah.
Oh God, that is such a weird view of the afterlife.
I weirdly though do kind of hope that that's pretty accurate.
I know. I fully hope that there's like a Beetlejuice-esque, like full handbook for the recently deceased, like how to haunt. You know, you're in the house for 300 years. I love that shit. I think it's amazing.
I'd be fine with that.
Oh yeah,
I'd be totally fine with that.
Oh.
Moving on then. So that's kind of the overall kind of like sightings. That's kind of the ones to look out for when you're in the hotel.
Yep.
So I'm gonna finish out the episode with some kind of reported experiences from people themselves.
Okay.
Various groups throughout the years, because it's been haunted, known about it being haunted, have decided to come in and investigate it. And the most premier of them all is the Northwest Connecticut Paranormal Society.
Damn, that sounds about as official as the what is it, the Texas Bigfoot Conservancy or whatever?
That 100%. I was actually thinking the same thing.
Like, are they? Maybe they use the same like PR company or something.
Most likely, I would imagine. But yeah, they probably have their website on Facebook as well, actually.
Oh yeah.
So, the Northwest Connecticut Paranormal Society, they actually allegedly captured some evidence of something going on in the hotel. Would you like to know what it was?
Obviously.
They allegedly got a photo of a spirit orb. That's it.
Rob.
Rob. So spirit orbs are
lights. They're lights.
Spirit orbs are fucking dust. I'm sorry, it's a fucking fly or it's dust.
It's dust. It's some kind of weird light refraction. It's camera, it's film things, it's so many things other than...
You're using a camera with a fucking flash. Of course you're going to pick up dust in it. Don't claim that it's like an orb of a ghost just fucking floating about
you
there.
are not Merida in medieval Scotland. You do not have a will-o'-the-wisp. Leave it alone.
Exactly.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to include that.
A photo of a spirit orb. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, I'm unreasonably angry.
Yeah, I knew you would be. That's why I included it. To have reported experiences from an employee who worked there, actually.
Okay.
Which might give you a little bit more validity to what he was talking about. So his name is Luke Edwards, and he was a night clerk that lived there, basically. Because, America, he basically, lived at work.
Yep.
So he says, once around 2 a.m., I dozed off and I heard a woman's voice whisper in my ear. He kind of jumped up awake. He says, I snapped awake and no one was around. He couldn't explain it. He said that he's had other weird things happen to him as well. But he has said that as strange as the experiences were, nothing has ever scared him enough to leave. And he's never felt like there's some sort of malevolent presence there. So it's the way he's describing it is that the experiences that he's had, seeing things, hearing voices, nothing is ever he doesn't feel like it's trying to get rid of him. It's just there's a presence here.
Okay, I think we need to talk about infrasound. Is there anything that could be, or I don't know, if each room had hot water, like gas heating, is there a gas leak? I just feel like there's some kind of low level physiological reason why people are all experiencing some weird things. I mean, I know that's a skeptic in me, but then again, I mean, on the other hand, I'm thinking of the Mad Monk in the Black Tapes playing the unsound through the lift.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm not sure on infrasound, but it is an old building, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a certain amount of carbon monoxide in the air.
Exactly. What is the baseline carbon monoxide level? Also, if it was built in the late Victorian period, are people accidentally, I don't know, licking the wallpaper and coming down with cyanide and lead poisoning?
Entirely possible. We'll there could be asbestos in the ceilings.
Yeah.
we're not sure. However, I take what you're saying, but my next story though of experiences might kind of sway you another way.
Okay.
So there has been, the voices, the footsteps and things like that. But there's also apparently been phantom phone calls. So the phone will apparently just ring. People will pick it up and then there'll either just be no one on the other end, or there'll be a strange voice that they can't actually fully understand.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's just a dodgy phone line or if the ghosts are actually communicating. So the reason why I've included this is because Frank Conley has always apparently been sighted sitting beside the old phone.
Right.
That's there. So they've apparently been getting phantom phone calls themselves in the building. But I just found it interesting that the thing that Frank was known for was sitting by the phone, and it's the phone that's having problems.
I mean, I would be more convinced if, or at least I'd be more intrigued and delighted if you said and the phone is not connected, but it still receives calls. Now that would have been amazing.
That's fair. That is more than fair.
So I'm less I don't know. There are a lot of weird prank call people, and yeah. So I if you had said the phone hasn't been hooked up in 2 decades, I'd have been ooh. But I'm less convinced by just the regular phone thing happening.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree. They were filming the Innkeepers there. They did say that the cast and crew, I don't know if they really had too many experiences that were kind of reported. But the one thing that they did report on was saying that the building itself is it's inherently spooky. And they actually said that the layout of the building is actually very disorientating. They said that after a long day of shooting, you'd walk down a hallway and it was like somebody had just started building it and kept building without any plan. So they're saying that the building itself is also just disorienting to get around. So I could genuinely see a case where if someone isn't paying attention, if they're tired and they're walking in a building that has a confusing layout, that they could start to feel a heightened sense of fear or uncertainty if all of a sudden they're wait, where the fuck am I? This isn't where I was supposed to be going.
I like that because that's very Winchester Mystery House vibes. That's very The Spiral from the Magnus Archives vibes. I like
same
that.
Here. So the last thing that I'm going to touch on then is the experiences of a ghost hunting crew that basically went there. And it's on a blog called Haunted World.
Amazing.
Which I'll link in the description. But the two people that went there to basically like talk about their experiences, I'm going to finish out on them because it's actually very good, and you're going to love this ultimately.
Okay.
They talk about how they arrived at the hotel and they'd arranged to stay there the night, and it had all been arranged ahead of time with the owners that they could stay there basically and ghost hunt effectively.
Yeah.
So they got there and they said that they initially intended to stay in room 295. That was their plan. They were going to stay in room 295. This is the one where the figure was felt getting into bed with them.
Right, okay.
So they got to room 295, and upon arrival, they found that the room's heat was broken during the middle of the winter. So apparently it got so cold that the pipes kind of seized up and broke, and so there was no heating in the room.
Okay.
So after they went down to the front desk and let them know, the management decided that because they'd specifically said they were coming to hunt ghosts, they agreed to upgrade them, and they moved them to the suite that the Conleys had lived in room 353.
Okay.
Like, management were very kind of like forthcoming with stories and all, and they told us about the hauntings that had happened. And some of the employees talked about room 353, and they said that a group of young male college students had been staying in room 353, that while they were there, they became so terrified that by something in their room that they checked out early. They also talked about how in room 353, allegedly ghosts have been reported getting into bed with people in that room as well.
Okay.
So they decided to listen to the warnings of like, don't panic, everything's okay. And the owner apparently said to them not to sleep. So it's in a suite. So they said, don't sleep in the bed in the front room. So they said that that's Alice's bed. Don't sleep there. So they decided to listen to the warning, and they went into one of the other beds in like the living room section of the room.
Yeah.
So yeah, they talk about how the suite itself is old. It has creaky floorboards, which, you know, classic old hotel creaky floorboards are a must. So yeah, they talk about how around like in the evening time, around 9 p.m, they started doing an EVP voice recorder session. Mm-hmm. They didn't get any responses, shockingly.
What?
I know. So their logic is, this is around 9 p.m. They're like, right, if we're going to stay up all night, why don't we go asleep now for an hour or two, get a nap in, and then we're good to go for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So while they were sleeping in this bed, they both reported strange occurrences involving the blankets. So at one point during their nap, one of them felt somebody tuck the blanket underneath his foot. So basically like tucking him in. But then the other person was awoken by the blanket being pulled off her sharply.
Right.
So they said, though, that it confused them, but they didn't feel there was a malicious intent, so they decided to go back asleep.
Okay.
And nothing else happened. So then, moving on then to their like late night investigations, they talk about how they walked around the hotel. They decided that they wanted to explore more in like the darkness. So while they were looking around the hallway, they reported hearing the sound of clapping coming from somewhere, but they didn't know where it was. They report that this was strange because, according to the owners, they were the only guests in the hotel at the time. They said that they followed the sound, but they couldn't find the source. So they decided to go back to their room to get more equipment, and when they got to their room, they started hearing people talking. So they thought that, oh, this must just be the owner they're in. We can hear them talking in the hotel. But then they said that they quickly realized that the voice speaking had an American accent and the owners are British. Mm-hmm. So they're not quite sure who it could have been. And that basically they're like, we don't know where this could have been because they were supposedly the only guests staying there.
Spooky.
Absolutely. And then to top it all off, their final experience was they were getting ready to go to bed. They were just kind of going through the routine, and their bathroom door opened on its own.
Okay. I mean,
that's it.
I did not grow up in a luxury hotel by any stretch of the imagination, but even our ramshackle little house, like, it settled a lot, and so, like, doors would just kind of move occasionally.
True. Very true. Yeah. So that is the Yankee Pedlar Hotel, or Inn. It, unfortunately, so the film came out in 2012, The Innkeepers, and unfortunately the hotel closed for good in 2015, and it hasn't reopened since.
Okay.
So people cannot investigate any further there for the time being.
Well, I think especially old hotels are They have they kind of lend themselves to being rather spooky because a hotel is kind of one of the ultimate liminal spaces.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, and especially if, you know, we joked about it earlier about people being feral when they go to hotels, but like if you're in a building that's unfamiliar to you, you don't know the layout of it. If you're staying in a hotel, like potentially you're on like a trip, like a work trip or like a holiday or something like that. So, you know, you might be having a few drinks or whatever. If you're in a building that already has quite a confusing layout, and if you're like tired or like had a few drinks or something, I could totally see how being in this kind of old building, knowing the stories about it, could immediately start fucking with your mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it wouldn't take much at all, I think, for a regular occurrence that you would generally just brush off as just nonsense to immediately be like, that was a ghost.
Yeah, for sure. No, I can absolutely see that. Especially, I mean, I'm just thinking, obviously, one of the most famous cases being Stephen King staying in the Stanley Hotel. I think I've seen an interview with him where he was like, I was also on a lot of acid, which probably didn't help.
Yeah. Stephen King definitely does not remember a significant portion of his life.
Well, like, if he cracks his neck, do you think he, like, gets flashbacks?
100%. He gets a free trip every time he cracks that neck.
Exactly. Oh, God.
Yeah. But that is the Yankee Pedlar Inn. It's as I said, it came purely out of watching another film and reading Letterboxd. Discovering the occurrences.
It was interesting. I like haunted hotels are good because, like I said, they are weird liminal spaces where we don't behave the way that we kind of would at home, but we're supposed to treat them like a home, and so there is some inherent interesting stuff there. Also, I like the idea that some mysteriously wealthy Irish immigrants poured all this random money into a place in Connecticut.
Yeah, arguably that's the bigger mystery here, actually. Like, where did they get the money?
Like, that did, just to wrap up, it did make me think of, I saw a post, I think I might have sent it to you, but somebody said, like, it's the 1920s, I lean against a fence post, and it goes on, and then it's like, I'm flipping a nickel in my hand, like, in between my fingers, it rolls and falls down a grate, I've just lost the equivalent of $20,000 US. And it made me laugh really hard.
God, that's brilliant. That's so spot on.
So no, that was really great. I had a lot of fun with that. That was good. I mean, I am the consummate skeptic. I think it's all building settling and like, holy shit, you brought up fucking the orbs. How dare you? Like, I have many questions for you.
I knew it. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's such just a minor, like, one sentence inclusion in evidence. But I was like, Suz is going to absolutely despise this. So it's my duty to report it to her.
Well, it's like one of those moments where, like, when Shane and Ryan would do an investigation and Ryan on the spirit box would be like, did you hear it say, like, go die tonight? And then Shane's like, it said apple tater. Like,
yeah. I would love, unironically, to do one of those, you know those things where they put headphones over them and they close their eyes and they just shout out the words that they hear?
Yes.
I would unironically love to do that. I'd love to go to, say, like the Hellfire Club or something and do that. I would say that'd be great crack.
It would be fun. But I think, because it's like a Rorschach test, like you're going to see what you're already thinking about. And so, like, with me, it would just be like, existentialism. Death. Chips.
Imposter syndrome.
Oh god. Intermittent fasting.
That got real there now.
I know.
I once saw someone describe intermittent fasting as the millennials' way of saying I can't afford breakfast.
I can't afford breakfast. I love that. Oh god.
Yeah. And funnily enough, like, it's not entirely wrong.
No, it's not. Oh god, like just strategically starving yourself because you have no other option, but you need it. You need to name it so you have some sense of control over the world.
Yeah, because millennials love labels.
Oh, we're all about them.
Yeah, we're all about those labels. But yeah, that concludes the episode. I had a lot of fun reading about this, and I'll definitely have to watch the Innkeepers now to see, because they apparently, like, they film in all the rooms. So, like, they film in room 353, they film in the other rooms, like, so, like, you see the bar, the rocking chair, everything in it. So I'm definitely gonna have to watch it
for sure.
So I will report back in a future episode with an update on the Innkeepers. Innkeepers.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone listening enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a bit of a weird one. I think we spent like 25 minutes at the start talking about movies and just random shit.
Skippers unite at 25 minutes in.
Yeah, that's why you come here, apparently, just to listen to the insanity that is our friendship. So.
And we appreciate it. So yeah, thanks so much. We love you guys.
We do very much so. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can get us on Instagram at the Spooky AF Pod. You could also get us on Gmail at the spookyafpodcast@gmail.com. We also now have a YouTube channel where all of our videos go up, just the episodes at the moment. Who knows, maybe in the future we might do videos as well. We don't know. Probably not, but we'll see.
I will not, like, if you want to engage with us via YouTube comments, I will not do that. So.
Yeah, I'll see them. I might respond, but
it's a
I won't be
cardinal
having a
rule of
conversation
mine.
with you.
I don't go into YouTube comments on anything for any reason.
Yeah, that's more than fair. Yeah, I will engage with you on YouTube if it's a nice comment.
Yeah,
otherwise,
like if you're acting
Instagram.
like a decent human being.
Yeah, exactly. And also to be the most like on the head podcaster now as well. If you like hearing what we do, we'd actually really appreciate it if you could leave us a review on the podcast streaming service that you use. We've actually gotten some really good reviews recently, so we'd appreciate it if you drop some reviews. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
It'd be good to hear. And we've officially become the like shill podcasters now, Suz, in asking for reviews.
It's true, but I mean, we knew this going into it. I can't believe we're coming up on 1 year. Like, Jesus Christ.
We are coming up on 1 year, which is crazy to think. Really soon, actually, October. So we're as of recording, we're doing this in August. So not that far, and we do have some cool plans for the month of October. So stick around, keep an eye on our Instagram. We'll probably start teasing some things soon enough.
Absolutely.
And keep an eye out. But with that said, I hope you're all having a lovely time of the day whenever it is you're listening to this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
See y'all.